Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be 40 points of my Kallus from Everblight up against Borka from the Trollbloods. So this here was going to be a practice game for a tournament I'm running this weekend. It's a 40-point tournament where every single game is the gauntlet. The mission here is where you have to control the zone on your opponent's side 2 times in order to win, or just kill the caster. So it usually just forces you to the center, and my opponent here is one that's beaten me the last 2 times we've played. Basically, I go for a balls-out assassination, and I fail miserably. So I'm making sure that when I come into this one, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going for more attrition, and that's why I got Kallas. The only beast I'm taking is the Tariff. I have Striders, Hex Hunters, Legionnaires, Swordsmen, Max Pot, and also Grotesques. So just a whole bunch of infantry, and hoping to go in there and just grind them down. And here's his good-looking army. I mean, unlike mine, I don't think I've ever seen him use a model that wasn't painted. But anyway, he has his Fellblades on the left. He has his Krailstone, his Champs, Champ Solos, and all that cool stuff. He has the Mauler, he has the Axer. And, yeah, the big thing that I saw when I saw this, because he deployed first, he'll be going first, is I did not want his Fellblades rushing up and tying up my shooting stuff. So that's why I got my Striders and my Hex Hunters on the right flank, the more kind of throwaway Grotesques on the left. And really, if I can even just draw away the Fellblades away, that'd be great. Hopefully my Hex Hunters and Striders can rush to the back and take out his support, and then just grind him down the center. But we'll just have to see how that goes. Alright, so I guess I got that mixed up. I actually went first. And really, for the first turn, I'm just moving on up. So you can see on the right flank, I'm rushing up as fast as I can. Really having sight on right now on the Legionnaires, because they'll be the first ones, or Ignite rather, on the Legionnaires, because they'll be the first ones to hit combat, and I want them to hit hard. And I have Counterblast on the Tariff, because whatever, I just need him to generate some fury. His first turn, he's just pretty much moving up and loading up the Krailstone. But the main thing here that I'm kind of worried about is, first of all, the way that this board is set up. I mean, with all these huts going around, and the way that it really kind of limits things down, even though I very much outnumber him, unfortunately, I will not be able to bring all my forces to bear at the same time. Now, I've never gone up against Borka before, but I know from watching other battle reports that he stumbles away whenever you hit him, so he's pretty hard to kill. And I also know that the big thing with this big, huge champ unit is the fact that they have amazingly high defense and lots of boxes, so they'll be hard to take down. But unfortunately, like I said, I can't bring that much to bear on them, so I'm just going to kind of do my best. And one of the things I might need to do is use Kallas, because since he has reach, he can reach over my front line and try and add some damage to it. But again, we'll have to kind of see how this plays out. So my second turn, I got my Grotesques moving up on the left side, one just being thrown out front to be a throwaway. I have my Legionnaires taking up positions there to kind of block things down. This is also going to be my feet turn, just because I really need to block them and make sure they don't kill too much of my stuff. I've also went and switched Ignite to my Swordsman, because I realize now that my Legionnaires won't really have much left, and so I might as well switch it there already. One of the things I've already seen for the future is, had I taken the Succubus, then I'd have enough resources to keep on flip-flopping it between units, but that's the way it is now. On the right side, just trying to take up positions. My Striders do a big combined shot into one of his guys there, the one with the big barrel, can't remember his name, but I roll poorly for my damage and don't do anything. His turn 2 then, and most of it goes the way I expect, but there's a few surprises. His Fellblades do as best they can, which isn't too much given the 1 Grotesque and the 2 Legionnaires in the way, so they're kind of just over there. This is actually Borka's feet turn. I don't even know what his feat does. My opponent told me that he's not really going to do much except for make guys fearless, so whatever. The big thing that was a surprise, though, is that I didn't know that the champs could charge through each other, so he didn't get as bogged down as I thought, and his line is a lot closer than I thought. So whereas I thought that I'd have a lot of the middle of the board to play with, now I have those 3 champs right in my face. So that's really going to change the dynamics of how I thought this was going to flow. On the right side too, I really thought at least something would be coming over to engage me, and that's why my Hex Hunters were set up to counter, but he didn't do that at all. Maybe because I had those guys there to counter. So whatever, my guys aren't engaged, and now I can start trying to pick stuff off. My turn 3 then, and things are starting to get all mucky and crazy. So, I go and I charge the grotesques on the left side. I'm able to go and wipe out the 3 fen blades there in the front. He had to spell on them so that if you kill one of them, you get knocked down. So I have a couple of knockdown guys there. From some of the deaths, I was able to make a shredder. It helped kill some more of the fen blades and kill the guys that are over here. Otherwise, I really didn't do as well as I thought in the center. I thought with some big combined attacks and all these things, I'd be able to do well. His one champ, solo guy, not the one with the barrel, but I don't know, I can't even remember what his name is. I killed him, but he was just knocked down. I'm not going to argue that because, he was actually rolling fairly low for tough this time. And then I started attacking his champs here, and man, they were just... That armor 20 is just so crazy high. I just hardly did anything at all. I did, some of them were kind of damaged up. The one that's at the top there of the 3, he's down to 1 hit point, but that's pretty much it. My striders go to start shooting into his Krailstone guys, kill a couple, and then my Hex Hunters come over and start shooting into the Mauler. They do something like 3 damage, but that's about it. And I have one guy in the front there to kind of tie him up so I can hit him harder next turn. But, yeah, that was pretty much it. His turn 3 then, he's starting to really mop some things up. Man, I didn't know those champs also, with their 2 attacks, also get to take another step. So they start to really kill everything I have up there. I just only have the 1 Legionnaire left. He really surprised me on the right, that he really didn't do much to get his guys out of there. I really thought I'd have a Mauler in my face, but he kind of held back. He's trying to move the Krailstone in behind, so, that's what's going on there. Otherwise, on the left side, his Axer starts killing some guys. He does some damage to one of my Shredders, and he kills a couple of my Grotesques, but that's pretty much just a whole bunch of bloodbath in the middle. My turn 4, I go on another counter charge. So I first screw up and I try killing a guy with my Striders, and I forget that he had Wind Wall up, so that meant their shots was completely useless. But then my Hex Hunters line up and they just blast the hell out of the Mauler and do tons of damage to him. I think it's like he's more than half dead now, so that's pretty great. I also sent a bunch of guys into the Axer. I really thought I'd actually be able to kill the Axer, but man, he has really high armor as well, so, he's hurt, but there's only so much I could do. My one Shredder was able to kill the guys that were engaging him. I'd make another Shredder. He was helping me out with the Axer. I've now killed all the Fen Blades except for the useless Musician. By the way, it should be assumed that when I'm doing all this stuff, I have Dark Guidance up. And then I try and do my best in the middle too, but again, I'm just not doing as much as I can. I did kill the one champ solo guy, but that's about it. And one of the things I was kicking myself for is it wasn't until the end of this turn that I realized that whenever I was charging with my Swordmasters, I was rolling 3 dice, just like when I attacked normally with 3 dice. So all these times here where Swordmasters were charging in, I should have been doing a little bit more damage. But I can't really feel bad for that because on this turn he just rolled horribly. A lot of his stuff is needing, I think it was 6s to hit, and he just kept on flopping tons of them. So I have way more guys than I should, which makes me feel lucky because I was about ready to watch my center fall. Things are going pretty good on the left flank, really good on the right flank, but man, if he punches through my center, Kallus is in a little bit of trouble, and he can't really run away because then I'll start giving up the scenario. So I was really lucky he didn't kill more there. He killed some stuff there on the left with his Axer, but again, he just didn't roll as well as he should have. He really just killed a Grotesque and injured up one of my Shredders there. Borka came over and he killed my other Shredder that was up at the top. And again, I was kind of confused. He didn't send in his Mauler. What he was trying to do was to try and move him in and away to get more to the center, but he didn't have the room to get through. So after he started doing, I think he said the run order, then all of a sudden he found he couldn't make it through. And it doesn't even matter if you engage me, right? Because I can still shoot you with my magic. So yeah, kind of a loss for him there. My turn 5 then, and this is where things start looking fairly good. I start off trying to attack the Axer there. I've popped another Shredder, and he's down just to 1 hit point. I really wanted to try and find a way to kill him, and so I bring over Kallas to try and kill the one champ that was there, because that would open up a charge for my swordsman to get over there. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to quite do it. After the swordsman went, they killed the guys that were there, though, so that's looking really good. The Tariff had actually charged in to try and do some damage, but didn't really do much at all. And again, on that Mauler, just everything shooting into there. He doesn't have Wind Wall going right now. The Strider shot into him, all the Hex Hunters shot into him, so he's almost dead. So right now he has an Axer down to 1 hit point. He has the Mauler that has like, oh, I don't know, must have been something like 4 hit points left. My Grotesques have gone in there, and they've either, killed some of his support stuff, and there's one in there in the way, and so things are actually looking pretty good. But on his turn, he is able to go and kill the one Grotesque in the way, and I didn't really think of it, but because Borka also has a reach weapon, Borka's able to charge in, reach over my lines, and kill Kallas, and that's it. So, victory to Borka, and, even though I feel like this was a really good game, I definitely have some real good lessons to take away from this. I'd say the number one and utmost thing that I had to take away was the whole idea of situational awareness. I mean, the way that I was kind of perceiving the board was that my center was weak, my flanks were strong, and I needed Kallas to help in the center, or else he was going to break through and I was going to lose. If I would have taken a look at this a little bit better, because even though I mentioned it in the battle report just to say where things were, I should have really understood that really next turn his Axer would be dead, his Mauler would be dead. I had almost killed his Creelstone. It was just down to the one model now, and that meant that past this turn, he would have nothing to draw things off from, no buffs. All of a sudden, after that, Hex Hunters are able to actually go and work on other things. And really, even if I had to back away for a turn and let him get one control point, by my next turn, I'd be swamped in there, and Borka, unless he's cutting himself, would have no fury to work with, and that's pretty much it. But like I said, I didn't assess it correctly. I didn't notice that. I went a little bit too aggressive. And there you go, I got myself killed. But you know what, it was a really great game. It's my 3rd game with Kallas, and I really like running him with lists like this with all the infantry. Something else I learned, obviously if you charge with Sword Masters, make sure to roll 4 dice. The other thing too is just the whole idea where I really think I could do really well with a Succubus in here. Especially in a list like this where I had to deal with a really high armor, having 2 units that did +2 damage would have been very helpful. But just the way it was, I couldn't do that and have Dark Guidance going at the same time. What would I drop to get that? I mean, if I just made the Grotesques a unit of 6 rather than 10, that could be it there. That's really, pretty much with my list, I have to cut it from one of my infantry. But, yeah, I had a great time, and I hope you had a great time watching it. Thanks, bye.